this is your second lot. What was your first game, by the way? You said you played these three in a row. What was your first game? What was the matchup?
There's a PvP in some other map.
Okay, okay. Again, just take a quick look at the map and just look at the architecture, the way everything's laid out. There's only two ways to get into your sort of base area with the two destructible rocks, which have a lot of HP and armor. So again, just remember that on a map like this, which has close air distance but far ground distance, that you can really get away with not making units early. So let's just take a quick look at building your pylon. You build it on 8 supply, which is a bit inefficient, but that's okay. Just remember to you go for gateway on 9 this time. All right. I think this is just a bit of a build order problem. Like if I show you a little bit about if I show you a normal build order, I don't think you'll have any issues. Because I think that's a pretty easy thing to correct. Did you sort of build your gateway when you have minerals, or did you just plan on doing it then? What was your idea behind that?
The idea was to just get gateway early, just in
Okay.
case we need it.
Yeah, just remember, it's all about the maps. With the rocks, it's just a lot harder to do any early attacks. There's a little bit of a sort of trick you can do is if you place you can actually do this if you place a pylon next to the rocks, you can warp in on the other side, and that's like one thing because when you get warp gates, you can anywhere you have vision and a pylon, you can warp in. So that's a little trick you can do, but it's I doubt anyone would think of that in the earlier levels of gameplay.
Yeah, then you have to contend with the rocks on their side.
Yeah. All right, so this guy, let's see what he's doing. He's getting Gateway then Forge. This is just... Alright, let's just ignore him because this is just really bad. You really don't want to get a Forge. Like, Forges are... Okay, only in Protoss vs. Protoss are Forges... Like, when you make a Forge, you make only a Forge. You're going to be cannon rushing. There's really nothing else you can do with an early Forge in PvP. Alright, so let's look at your base right now. You've got 50 gas. Good, you started Warp Gate. Look at how long it takes to make, by the way. It takes 160 seconds. That's a really long time. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to stop chrono boosting workers and chrono boost Warp Gate because it is the most important Protoss upgrade in the game. It is so strong. Because normal gateways, you train a Zealot in 38 seconds, Stalker in 42. Or you could warp in instantly, which it takes about 5 seconds for them to appear, just like materialize. And I think it takes less time for them to recharge. So in general, just production is increased. So you really want to get out that warp gate really fast. It lets you be just more offensive and is just more efficient in general. All right, so you take your second gas at 4 minutes, and it finishes around 4 minutes 40 seconds, and you're mining from it. Oh, you got your own forge. So what was your plan this game? Did you have a plan, or were you just were you going for the robotics again?
I think so.
Oh yeah, there you go. You drop it down right now. Again, robotics is a more defensive tech type, in just generally in any matchup, because the Immortal is a really slow unit and you can't warp it in, and it's the only offensive unit it can make. So you, in general, it just means you're playing more defensive and reactive. And you also make a forge. Were you, what was your idea behind the forge? Were you expecting DTs, so you were going to make a cannon?
I think so.
Alright, I'm pretty sure even the fastest DT rush will not hit before 7 minutes and 30 seconds. So no matter what they do, I don't think you don't actually need detection until around that time. I'm pretty sure on that. I have to double check. So yeah, just remember that you don't really need detection that early. So an early forge, unless you're going to get like an upgrade or you're going to use cannons in a more offensive way, is not that necessary. Because one of the things is just like stalkers in general, like they're mobile and cannons aren't. So if you make a forge, you have to play really defensive, unless you're getting it just for the upgrades. And it seems like you are. You're getting ground weapons level 1. That's alright. Alright, let's take a look at what he's doing. He chose to take the more risky expansion rather than the safe one behind the rocks, which makes not an ounce of sense, but that's okay. It's not important. So let's see what you at right now. I'm at 7 minutes 12 seconds. Let's see what your vision is. You have not scouted his base. You're sending your observer at now. All right, that's good. So remember, if you make an observer, you're gonna want to see what his tech choice is. So he's going for Void Rays, I see. 2 Stargate Void Ray. You actually can't really support that, though his Nexus is gonna kick in pretty soon, hopefully. Okay, yeah, he's transferring probes. So, let's see what you've got. You're making an Immortal, and you're making more gateways. And you've got a Twilight Council. Were you going for Blink, or were you going for DTs? Why'd you get the Twilight Council?
I think usually I go for charge.
All right, that's viable. If you want to go, one of the things about Protoss is you basically can have one tech structure per base unless you're doing a real all-in. So if you make a Twilight Council, you're really going to want to stick with that tech route. So by getting a Robo and a Twilight Council, it's really splitting your gas a lot, because Protoss stuff costs a lot of gas. A Twilight Council is 100, Robo is 100, and then they're both, well, it's 200 mins for a Robo and then 150 for a TC. But just in general, like a Twilight Council doesn't produce units, it only upgrades units. So by getting two sort of, you know, less unit heavy structures, because Immortals are really, really expensive, you're really, it's like cutting it a little bit close. Alright, so let's look what he's doing. He's still making Void Race, he's making another Stargate. In general, his economy is just better. Like right now, you've only got 22 probes, but you've got 2 gas, so you're not really fully saturated on mining. Plus, he has an expansion up, and he's saturated pretty well. So he just yeah, his macro was just a bit better here. Another thing, you're getting shields for Protoss. You really don't want to get shields. You want to get armor because if you look at most Protoss units, they start with 1 base armor. Like Immortals 1 armor, Zealots 1 armor, Stalker 1 armor, Sentry 1 armor. So what you want to do is it's instead of getting one so shields have 1 armor and then armor it has 1. If you just sort of composite it both into 1, it's better off. Because shields recharge anyway, but health doesn't regenerate. So shields should be the last thing you get. Plus, it's also the most expensive. It's way more expensive than armor or weapons. It's by 100. 100 minerals, 100 gas. Alright, so I see you're getting a lot of stuff off 1 base. When were you thinking about expanding this game?
I don't know. I usually expand a little earlier. I mean, it's like almost 12 minutes. Wait, did you get that?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that. So you want to, when do you usually expand? Like generally you want to have an expansion up before the 10-minute mark unless you're really going to be aggressive off 1 base. Or were you Oh, looks like you're sending out a probe now to build the next boat. Yeah, but it's really late. Like one of the things here is, yeah, it's pretty clear that you just don't have too big a plan. Like you're like, I got a lot of units, but not really expanding until kind of late. And that's a little bit of what lost you the game. This guy, if you look at him, you saw what he did. He's going for mass void ray, which is basically the lamest strat in the game. But he had a plan. He was like, okay, I'm going to expand so I can get as many void rays as possible. And then I'm going to use this air advantage because if you notice that there's very little distance between your bases by air, but by ground it's a huge distance. So he's like, alright, I'm going to get a lot of void rays because they're just generally a really good unit. And then I'm going to have sort of an air advantage. And he's not going to be able to attack me early because of the architecture of the map. Because these 2 rocks. So I'm going to get that early expo to support my mass void ray production. He got air armor level 1. Don't know why he didn't get weapons. That doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. And yeah, so he just by having sort of more of a plan, Oh, I think you saw an observer too. So let's see what you saw from his base. You see he's going mass void ray. Uh, just in general, do you know the counters to each unit yet?
And not for every unit.
All right. Well, void rays are countered. The Phoenix are pretty. Phoenix versus Void Rays, it's sort of pathetic to watch. Like, neither of them are good against each other. Stalkers, because you can get generally 2 Stalkers per Void Ray, they're a lot, just by the way things cost, they're pretty good against Voids, especially if you get Blink, because Void Rays are really slow. So what you can do is you can sort of blink underneath a Void Ray and surprise them. And since they cost so much but are relatively weak, they only have 250 health, and they don't even have a base shield, base armor. You have to upgrade it from the side core. Stalkers are pretty good against Void Rays. But you're getting Phoenix. I'm not actually sure in the Phoenix versus Void Ray War which comes out ahead, but just in general, like Blink Stalkers, really good counter to Void Rays. Um, he's even getting a Fleet Beacon. The Phoenixes were in response to the Void Rays, right? That's what your thought process behind that was?
Yeah.
Alright, that's good. Well, it's good that you were trying to counter it. Like, I think Blizzard has the help menu, I think, shows all the counters and stuff. So let's just click on the Void Ray. The Void Ray is weak against Phoenix, so I guess Phoenix are pretty good against Void Rays. Neither of them are really good against each other. Should That's pretty interesting. Alright, well, so I guess you made the right decision. I never really looked that up, but that's good to know. Alright, alright, one thing about Phoenix is that they're basically the fastest unit in the game. Like, at 4.25 speed, I think the only thing that outruns them is a Zergling on creep with speed. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure. So what you want to do with Phoenix is you can use them to be really active with scouting. Like, you can send a Phoenix to look around the map, check for expansions, and then come back relatively safe and sound. Because remember that since Protoss units have shields, they can regenerate half their health, up to half their health approximately. Well, I guess it's only 60, but so with Phoenix, you really want to be like just like looking around, scouting what they're doing, where their army is, because that's really important. Like you see, he's got mass void ray, so you want to cut all ground protection. Like Zealots right now, not a good idea because Zealots don't hit air and void rays hit ground. So let's see your expo. All right, we only got 2 guys in gas. This is all right though. He's got a big supply lead on you because of his 2 expansions. Oh, looks like he's moving out. All right. So, are we getting a dark shine? All right. Well, I'm glad that you scouted the void rays and are going for a counter to them. But just remember, yeah, have sort of a plan, an early game plan, and you get really far ahead. Because he had this void ray plan. He's like, I need to expand, get as many void rays as possible, and when I just get like this really large number, he'll just sort of see his void rays. He'll be like, that's just a lot of void rays. I think it's time to attack. And because of that, like he has this set timing that he's going to hit, and then that's when you're going to be, well, since you didn't really have much of a plan, you're like, well, I think I'll expand, do a little bit of this, that, because he's so focused on a single thing, he's going to have more of an advantage when it comes to the direct engagement. If you notice, almost, let's look at your unit count. You've got 7 Zealots, 2 Immortals, 9 Stalkers, 6 Phoenix, 5 Sentry, and then War Prisms and stuff. 19 Void Rays. I think 1 Void Ray will beat 1 Stalker. With the Phoenix in there, it changes the dynamic a bit. But the 8 Zealots and the Immortals, useless because they can't shoot up. So just remember to start making only units which, just really making units that counter what he's making once you've scouted what he's doing. Because when you see someone with this many of a single unit type, he's gonna keep making only that unit. And he's taking a 3rd base right now on the gold. Although you took an expansion too. Was that with the Warp Prism? Oh, this is an island. Oh, that's cool. Alright, I see your, are you planning, like, do you plan on attacking ever when you play, or just sort of?